Hi, I'm Mary Matz of Twisted Yarns. Today we're going to learn to make 4 Picot borders. If you plan to work a border along all 4 sides of an afghan or scarf, you will need to evaluate the edges. Start by comparing selvage edges to make sure they are the same length or if there are peaks and valleys. Also compare the first and last edges. In this case, we are a little tight, but this small amount can be corrected by adding a base row. If the first row is any tighter, however, you may want to watch my video how to fix a tight crochet edge, where you will learn to fix it without ripping it out. For my base row, I work single crochets around the edge. Single crochets work wonders to even out peaks and valleys on the side edges and can slightly widen a tight edge. Use enough stitches to smooth an edge. Just be aware if you put too few stitches, the edge bunches, and too many stitches, it ruffles. At the corners, I work 1 single crochet, chain 1, 1 single crochet. The chain 1 helps to turn the corner with barely any space added. Continue along the side, placing the single crochets around each of the edge stitches. The foundation row for these 4 edgings are all the same. It is a multiple of 3 plus 2. This means that the pattern repeats every 3 stitches and that you need an extra 2 stitches at the end to complete the pattern. Also, the smaller number of stitches in the repeat makes it easier to adjust to fit whole patterns along any edge. Work 1 double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. Chain 1, skip 1, and repeat. That's it. Make sure to chain 3 to turn the corner, and slip stitch when you finish the round. But how do you adjust to make the pattern fit exactly? After all, you need to end up with a skipped stitch and 2 double crochets in the last 2 stitches before the corner. Here's how. Work the pattern across the side. When you get close to the end, I like to start about 4 or 5 inches from the end, count out the stitches and either make an increase or decrease as needed. Sometimes you need to adjust twice on a side. By doing the adjustment 4 to 5 inches in from the corners, there is no bunching effect and the corner lays nicely when the final border rows are added. When the first side is complete, count the number of paired stitches. The skip stitches between the double crochets create holes. It makes counting the repeats very easy and the placement of the stitches super easy. The opposite side needs to have the exact same number of stitches. If you get the foundation row right, there is no more counting. The opposite edges will match perfectly, and you are ready to start the final edging. So this is variation 1 of the 4 easy Picot crocheting edges. And the straight sides are very straightforward. What you do is you work 1 single crochet in the top of each of the 2 double crochets at the row below of the foundation row. Now there's a chain 1 space here, and over the chain 1 space you're going to chain 3 and then slip stitch in the originating stitch to form a little picot. That's the little point. And then you skip over to, you skip the space and you go over to the next 2 double crochets and you work 1 single crochet in each one of those. How easy is that? 3 chains and then slip stitch in the originating stitch. Now we have something that's interesting because I always like to show people how to go around the corners because that makes a big difference. So we're going to work a single crochet in each of the double crochets on this side, on the last set of this side. 1, 2, 3, and form a picot. Then we're going to work 2 single crochets into the corner space 1, 2, 3, and form another picot. And then we're going to work 2 more single crochets into that corner space and make a picot. That's a 3-chain picot. And then we're going to be at our other side. So we're going to start by putting 2 single crochets in the first 1 single crochet in each of the 2 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. Slip stitch into the originating stitch. And then skip over the space. And just like before, we're going to continue on the other side. Look how neatly that corner turned. How beautiful. And how professional looking that edge is. Variation 2 has a slight ruffle and has a total of 3 rows. The foundation row is already in place. To start row 2, slip stitch across the double crochets to get to the next space. Then work 1 single crochet in the next space and chain 4. Do the same thing in each of the spaces along the side. This creates a little arch over each of the groups of double crochets in the foundation row. When we come into the corner, we do our chain 4 and our single crochet into the corner space. Then we do another chain 4 and another single crochet into the very same space. And then we continue on. So we place 2 single crochets with an arch in between. The reason is because then when we come in with the final row, it makes a very nice corner. The last stitch in this particular space is also the first stitch in the next space. How can that be? Well, it's kind of interesting. You yarn over, you insert your hook, you pull up a loop, and then you yarn over and pull through 2 like you were going to do a double crochet, but you hold that last loop onto your hook. Then you yarn over and insert the hook into the next space. You pull through 2, and that's just like you're going to do a double crochet, but you hold that last loop on your hook. That leaves you 3 loops on your hook, and then you yarn over and pull through all 3. What that makes is actually a double crochet decrease, or sometimes it's called a double crochet 2 together, which is kind of interesting because the first leg of it is in the first space and the second leg of it is in the second space. So to continue on, you do a double crochet and then a chain 4 picot. So how you do the chain 4 picot is you chain 4 and then you return to the originating stitch, which is the last stitch that you worked before the picot started. And that is, in this case, the double crochet. So you insert your hook and you do a slip stitch, and that forms the little point. Then you continue on with another double crochet, which ties down that picot. And then we're at the point where we're going to work another double crochet 2 together with the first leg in the current space and the second leg in the next space. How easy is that? Then we do a double crochet, chain 4 picot, another double crochet, and we're at the point where we're going to do double crochet 2 together with the first leg in the current space and the second leg in the next space. And the next space happens to be the corner space. So we're going to pull through all 3, do another double crochet, and this pattern is really easy because you treat that corner space once it's built on the second row. When you reach it on the third row, you treat it just like any other space. No special treatment. So you do your picot, you do your double crochet, and then you move on with your double crochet 2 together over the 2 spaces. And let's look. Isn't that a beautiful little border? And it makes such a nice curved corner. This is variation 3. And this one I call the crown because when it's all finished, it'll have little points on it that look like little crowns all the way around it. But this one has 3 particular rows. Our foundation row, which is in place already, and then we'll have a round 2, and then a round 3. To start round 2, you want to slip stitch in each stitch across to get to the first space, and then 1 slip stitch in the space. Then chain 1 and a single crochet, and then chain 5. Because this is the corner space, we're going to return to the space and put a second single crochet. Then we're going to chain 5 again. And we're going to continue all the way around, placing a single crochet and chain 5 in each space around. This is the last row of the crown edging. So, it's very easy to work. Since we did our arches on the second row of this particular pattern, all we have to do is do the same thing in every one of the spaces, including the corners, so there's no difference in how it's worked. Work 2 single crochets into the space, then work a 4 chain picot, 2 more single crochets into the same space, and 2 single crochets into the next space. So all in all, you're working 2 single crochets, a picot, and 2 single crochets into each space. See how the little picots look like crowns all the way around? Variation 4. I call it the fortress stitch because it has such a strong finish. It's made of 2 rows, the foundation row which we already have in place, and then the final row. Let's see how it's done. In the chain 1 space of the foundation row, we're going to work 3 double crochets. And then a chain 4 picot. Remember, you slip stitch into the originating stitch, which is in this case the last of the 3 double crochets. And that forms the little picot. In the corner space, you work it twice. So you do 3 double crochets, chain 4, slip stitch into that originating stitch to make the picot for the corner point, and then work 3 more double crochets into the corner. Make another picot, and then 3 double crochets into the next space. And then along the edge, you're going to work 3 double crochets in a picot all the way along the edge. Isn't that a strong statement for an edge? It can go on a granny square afghan, it can go on a plain afghan like this, but isn't that lovely? Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy crocheting the 4 easy picot borders. Please click my picture to subscribe and see more from Twisted Yarns. Happy crocheting!